Hello, everybody. This is a real quick video I want to do about the acronyms that I think are going to be really good for you to know before you take your test. So, guess what? Play this right before you go in to take your test, and hopefully, this kind of sticks in your head. So, without further ado, let's start. Legal test of a fixture. That acronym that we use is MARIA. Method of attachment, adaptation of the article to the real estate, relationship of the item to the parties, intentions of the parties attaching it to the real estate, and agreement between parties, meaning agreement between the buyer and the seller, the person who's getting transferred the property, okay? And a fixture is an item of personal property that has been transformed into real property. And let's just really quickly go over these questions. Method of attachment, is it nailed, screwed, or glued? Okay, so if I took this house and it was a dollhouse and I flipped it upside down, would that item move? Adaptation of the article to the real estate, how pertinent is it to the real estate, to the function of the real estate, to the fact that the real estate is there? What is this item in relationship to the real estate now? Relationship of the item to the parties. So is this unique to me? Is this something that maybe I have a sentimental value towards? Maybe my grandfather made this mailbox for me. Okay, maybe he made it in his wood shop. That would be something that would be unique to me. It would be a relationship that I have to the item, as opposed to someone else. Someone else wouldn't have any kind of attachment to the wooden mailbox that my grandfather made, right? The intentions of the parties annexing it or attaching it to the real estate. That's basically, again, it goes back to my grandfather making a mailbox for me. If the intention was to leave it, I mean, I don't think it would be. Also, if I had something custom made, maybe with my name, I had Stubu written across a custom made bookshelf. Probably my intentions weren't to leave that, but to take that with me in some manner, shape, or form. Right? It's kind of unique to me. An agreement between the parties. Sometimes it's explicitly said, hey, I'm not leaving this item, okay? And the buyers or the person who's receiving the property says, oh, yeah, no, I understand that that is not a fixture, even though it seems like it could be, right? So that would be our legal test of a fixture, Maria. Again, I'm going to put this in the description below, too. Government powers. Remember that as Pete. Police powers, eminent domain, taxation, and escheat. Pete, P-E-T-E. Police powers, basically those are not only the powers to protect and serve the general public. I always use like the Boston Marathon bomber who went into the person's backyard and hid in the boat. The police did not need to ask permission, do anything to access the property and go get the Boston Marathon bomber in the boat, right? They went and they did that because they have the right to serve and protect the general public. Okay, if there's like a potential threat or anything like that. Also under police powers, people don't realize this, but also under police powers falls the local zoning. So your local ordinances such as zoning, building codes, things of that nature would fall under police powers. Eminent domain, basically what that is the government's right to take your property for a higher and greater public use. They do that through the process of condemnation. They have the right to taxation, so they could tax your property, whether that be a special assessment tax, which is a one time for improvements, or that of an ad valorem taxes, which are according to the assessed value. Then we also have escheat. Escheat is when you die intestate, means without a will. So you die intestate, no will, no heirs. The property is going to revert back to the state. This is a state level function. Okay, keep that in mind. Next one is what is required to create joint tenancy. So what is required to create joint tenancy is what is referred to as the four unities. The unity of time, title, interest, and possession. The acronym that I use is TTIP. Some people use the acronym PIT, and they remember that it is an extra T in there. So I use TTIP. Some people use PIT. They remember it a little easier. Whichever one it is to you, it is the unity of time, title, interest, and possession. So they must take possession of the property at the same time on the same title. They must have equal shares of interest. Equal shares of interest, and they must come into possession at the same time. Okay, so it must be on the same title, must be at the same time, must have equal interest, and they must take possession at the same time. Okay, that is the four unities required for joint tenancy, and that would be remembered through the acronym TTIP or PITT. Valid contract. Clock without a K. Competent parties, legal use, offer and acceptance, and consideration. I'm just going to go through this a little bit. If you do not have competent parties or you have a contract with the minor, it's probably voidable. Okay, it's probably a voidable contract. Okay, on the part of the incompetent party or on the part of the minor. Legal use, okay? Legal use. Meaning, if there is no legal use, the contract is void. It is void, it is dead on arrival, cannot be enforced. Offer an acceptance and consideration. Now, if you are missing one of those items, other than legal use, okay, or let's say you enter into a contract and you're both incompetent, let's say you're both at a bar, okay, this is a contract that could be labeled as unenforceable, meaning that there is like I said, two incompetent parties where they're both inebriated at a bar, and you couldn't enforce it in a court of law. However, there is no reason, based on what you have there, to say that you cannot move forward with the contract. That you couldn't move forward with doing that between the two parties. It is said to be legal between the two parties, but unenforceable in a court of law. Like I said, they couldn't make two people who were inebriated act on a contract because they both were incompetent. However, if you want to go forward with that, you're more than welcome to do so because it is something that is unenforceable by a court of law. However, could be valid for you to move forward with and fine on your own. Okay. Fiduciary responsibilities. It is said that when you have a fiduciary responsibility or a fiduciary relationship, you have a cold. Accounting, care, obedience, loyalty, and disclosure. So accounting, listen, people always get this wrong. They always think that it's accountability or accountable. Accountable is like care, obedience kind of rolled into one. Okay, it's accounting. You have to have some sort of accounting skills. Okay, or if you're going to be handling money for someone, right, you have to be able to take the money and deposit it where it needs to go. There is some sort of accounting. You need care, obedience, loyalty, and disclosure as well. So you need to handle them with care. And again, that's why I say it's not accountable, it's not accountability, it's always accounting. There's care, there's obedience. You need loyalty as long as lawful, and disclosure, again, as long as lawful. Okay? So when you have a fiduciary relationship with another party, it is said that you have a cold. Accounting, care, obedience, loyalty, and disclosure. Last one that I'm going to go through is bundle of rights. I use the acronym PEACE, okay, because that would outline this. You have the right to possess, enjoy, alienate or disposition, control, and exclude. So again, the bundle of rights are when you own real estate. It is said that you have these rights to the property. You have the right to possess it. You have the right to enjoy it. You have the right to alienate or disposition it, control it, and exclude others from accessing the property. That's it, guys. Hope that helps you out.